Hey, what's up everybody? I'm your host James Curry and this is a Wild Connection. This week we have a special treat in store for you. We're on one of the most beautiful islands in the world, Isla Isabel, off the coast of Riviera, Nayarit in Mexico. This place is nothing short of a bird paradise. We have magnificent frigate birds here, we have red-billed tropic birds, and we have a very, very special species called the blue-footed booby.
As humans, we tend to think of ourselves as separate from or above other animals. But we might not be that different from our animal cousins. We've become separated from the natural world, and it's time to reconnect. This is a Wild Connection. Most people come to Riviera Nayarit for the pristine beaches, the waves, and the first-class hotels. But if you venture a little further north along the coast, you will stumble across the tiny fishing village of Blas. I've been here before and have returned for one reason: birds. Okay, well, birds and food. You see, Blas is the gateway to Isla Isabel, one of the most important islands in the world for breeding seabirds. But it's also home to one of my few friends that can truly cook, Vázquez. You've probably seen her on the TV show MasterChef Mexico, creating dishes influenced by her lifelong love of nature.
Cheers.
We are so happy to have you here, and we are very pleased, very, very pleased that you can tell your viewers the beauty of Blas, what we call the luxury of Riviera Nayarit. We don't talk about the other luxury people is thinking about, but we are thinking in the luxury of nature, what nature gives us every day. We love the ocean, we love nature, we love quiet in small places, but mainly, we love the environment of wild animals, birds, fishing, and we just fall in love.
So how did you start with the whole cooking thing? Because it's your life now, right?
I have been cooking since I was very little with my grandma and my moms. We are a family that happy moments are on the table. Sad moments are shared on the table. We love to entertain, and we love to show how big and beautiful the gastronomy of our area is. So I say, this is what I really want to do for life. And it has been 40 years already in this kitchen, in this hotel. Many ingredients had made my career.
Mahi-mahi, salt, lemon, cilantro, cucumber, shrimp, basil flowers, serrano pepper.
I believe gastronomy is not just one beautiful plate with a great dish. I think gastronomy is a whole line of
We are
process.
going to take all the tails.
The farmer or the fisherman who start working early in the morning trying to bring or raise what you are going to eat. And then the process of receiving that work on your kitchen, on your table, and transforming the ingredients into a plate.
Very, very simple flavors, but very deep in concept.
With this trilogy, we can have a gorgeous food.
Fresh oregano on top.
You've made a couple of your passions your career, right? Like, because you've got obviously the chef and the cooking side of things, but you also have another love, right?
Yes, I love nature. I think one of the things that made me stay, it was being able to listen, to understand, and to be able to speak to nature. I love birding. I think birds and their own character, they can teach you a lot.
So I've got a question for you.
Yes.
What is your favorite bird out of all of them?
As a character, I have to say the boobies, the blue-footed boobies. And they are amazing when you see the way they walk, you see the way they look at you, the way they turn their heads. It is like they think. I don't know who are more intelligent, them or us, because they can do things in a very special way. And one of my favorite places to bird, it is Isla Isabel, which is very close to San Blas. It's on the Pacific coast, and when you go there, it is like being in another world.
The journey to Isla Isabel begins with a 3-hour pre-dawn boat ride across the Pacific Ocean and ends with, well, you'll know when it ends. This is my second visit to the island, but I have to say it feels like my first, like I'm standing in the shoes of Magellan or Columbus. Jacques Cousteau swooned over the island's avian diversity in his 1975 production, The Seabirds of Isabella. In 1980, the island was proclaimed a national park, and the accolades kept coming.
I feel so little, and at the same time so big. So little because you are in a place, and if you were by it yourself, it is like lost on the ocean. It is like if you don't have anything. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
In 2003, it was designated a Ramsar wetland of international importance, and then in 2005, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But this tiny basalt rock in the middle of the ocean means so much more than just accolades and designations. For me, it feels like a place where you can either lose yourself or find yourself. A place of true solitude that is rare to find in today's modern world. A place that's an everlasting home to the blue-footed booby. We've come to this gem of the Pacific Ocean in search of the strange blue-footed birds, but I find myself distracted by the many other more accessible seabird species. Magnificent frigate birds. The name says it all.
It doesn't get much better than this if you're a birder. In fact, if you're anybody interested in wildlife.
The bizarre males display their bright red throat pouches to nearby females, and paired adults raise fluffy white chicks, all within a few feet of us. As the sun dips below the horizon, the birds engage in a final flurry of activity. And And then as things quiet down, it's time for me to join the birds as they settle in for the night.
Wow, those magnificent frigates were nothing but magnificent. But I've got to get my tent set up before it gets too dark. Well, it's time for me to bid you good night after a wonderful day's birding. I'm basically perched above the Pacific Ocean. It's totally beautiful here. I can't wait to see the view in the morning, but it's time to get some rest.
There's no sleeping in on this island, as the cacophony of squabbling frigate birds get ready for the day's activities. On my previous visit to Isla Isabel, I had seen nesting blue-footed boobies, but I had come well after the mating season. And that means that I'd missed one of the most celebrated love performances of any bird. Even on this relatively small island, the boobies don't make it easy for the aspiring naturalist. Of course, they choose two of the most remote sites on the island to perform their intricate love dances and to raise their families.
You've got to be super careful walking through these forests because there are thousands and thousands of birds, and that's no exaggeration. And last night when I was setting up my tent, I got totally pooped on my head, my back, everything. And they say that bird poop is good luck. So we're hoping for some excellent light and some amazing filming of these blue-footed boobies.
There's plenty to keep me entertained along the way. Whiptail lizards scurry in the understory, and Mexican spiny-tailed iguanas bask in the ever-present sunshine. Like their bird cousins, they show little to no fear of humans. En route to the boobies, hundreds of nesting sooty terns jostle with each other for space.
Most species of seabirds breed under the premise of safety in numbers, and these sooty terns are no different. They breed all at once in what's called synchronized breeding, where they'll mate and lay their eggs all at once within a few days or a few weeks of each other. And that means that predators like Heermann's gulls cannot possibly eat every single egg and raid every single nest and devour every single nestling. So a certain percentage of these sooty terns will make it through to adulthood every year, thereby ensuring the survival of the species into the future for the next breeding season. Oh wow, look at that one preening. You can see seabirds will spend a lot of time preening their feathers and keeping those feathers in excellent condition because they're constantly flying long distances and plunge diving for fish in the oceans. So those feathers have to be ship-shape all the time. But nesting in such close proximity to one another sometimes brings its own challenges, and there's a lot of squabbling between neighbors who might not necessarily be the best of friends.
The sites that the boobies choose to court and nest are as impressive as the birds themselves. And the summit of the island's tallest outcrop is no exception.
You know, I like birds. I don't know if I love them, And I don't get why birders are so insistent on making me climb mountains to see birds that you can see at the bottom of the mountains.
Come on, Josh, I'll make a birder out of you yet. Telling you that. It's worth it.
Boobies get their name from the Spanish word bobo, which means clown, and refers to their clumsy behavior on land. But in the air, they are transformed into elegantly graceful acrobats as they return from the open ocean to their mating and nesting sites. The difference between male and female is subtle. The male has a small, round-shaped pupil, and the female has a larger, almost star-shaped pupil. And there's a difference in voice too. The male has a soft flute-like whistle, while the female has a harsh cackle. This pair is beginning their elaborate courtship display. The male presents the female with a gift, an engagement ring of sorts. If she accepts, he tries to impress her further by pointing his bill at the sky and spreading his wings to display his striking physique. And if he holds her attention just long enough, he brings out the grand finale, a blue suede shoes dance like no other. The bluer the feet, the stronger his genetics, an honest indicator of good health. If she approves of his moves, she joins him in the wedding dance. The result is a pair of eggs. While the female broods the eggs, the male must embark on daily fishing expeditions. But sitting on the eggs for hours on end is a boring task. And with so many eligible bachelors, her eyes sometimes wander. But when he returns, the female waddles up to him as if nothing has happened. Classic. After a month and a half, the eggs hatch into fluffy white chicks with insatiable appetites. 2 chicks is an insurance policy should one baby die. The chicks grow quickly on their rich seafood diet until they're ready to depart and take their first flight. But this won't be their final goodbye to this magical island. When their time comes, they will return to the place of their birth, to sway, swoon, and step their way into life's next chapter.
One of my main decisions were made on the island. When I decided to quit my job and start into the hospital industry, it was the Isabel Island. So it has a special meaning for me. And when you have that connection, it's a special energy. I wish lots of people will find what I have found. I wish more people will understand nature and will fall in love with nature and protect nature. I'm convinced the ocean is the only only place we are going to be able to survive. And if we don't look after that, we are going to be lost. But it's a good moment to look for answers for the next goals, to understand that having that special place, sometimes for me, just for me, it is very special. It is a blessing.
Well, my time has come to leave this magical birding paradise called Isla Isabel off Riviera, Nayarit in Mexico. It's been a really soulful experience being on this island, totally alone, just myself and Josh, camping out and spending 2 days with all the incredible seabirds of this part of the world. I hope you'll join us next time when we head to a very different environment, the wintry wonderland of Yellowstone National Park, to look for, amongst others, winter wolves. Until then, go out into the wild and get connected.
I've worked so hard today, but you know, I think I might be a birder. I said it. I'm a birder.